The Devil's Ballet, A Tale of Spring-Heeled Jack. London, 1838. The gas lamps cast long shadows across Barnes Common, their weak light barely penetrating the notorious London fog. Mary Stevens clutched her shawl tighter as she hurried along the path toward her employer's residence, where she served as a housemaid. The hour was late, later than she'd intended to stay at her sister's, but Mrs. Worthington would surely understand. A sharp crack echoed through the darkness, like the sound of metal striking stone. Mary froze. Through the swirling mist, a figure stood atop the iron gates of the common. Its silhouette was wrong somehow, too tall, too angular. As she watched, paralyzed, it turned its head toward her with an unnaturally fluid motion. "Good evening, my dear," came a voice like steel scraping against granite. 2 points of red light gleamed where eyes should be. The figure leapt, not fell, but leapt, covering the 30 feet between them in a single bound. Mary's scream died in her throat as she beheld what stood before her, a gentleman's clothes of the finest cut, but twisted into something mockingly elegant. A tight-fitting black coat, a white cravat, and atop its head, a tall hat that seemed to absorb what little light reached it. But the face, dear God, the face, was a metallic mask with sharp, cruel features and eyes that burned like hot coals. A dance, perhaps? The thing's clawed hands reached for her, and Mary saw they were made of some strange brass-like metal that gleamed dully in the gaslight. She turned to run, but it was already there, blocking her path with another impossible leap. Its laughter rang out like shattering glass. "The newspapers call me Spring-Heeled Jack," it said, executing a mock bow, "though I prefer the Terror of London." Mary's heart thundered in her chest as she backed away. "Please, what do you want?" "Want?" Jack tilted his head at an impossible angle. "I want what I've always wanted, to remind this great city that there are things beyond its understanding. To show that beneath all your progress and steam engines and rational explanations, terror still stalks the night." He advanced, each step precisely measured, like a spider approaching its prey. "But mostly, my dear, I want to hear you scream." What happened next would be debated in London's newspapers for weeks. Some claimed Mary Stevens was saved by a passing constable. Others insisted she fought off the creature herself with a hatpin. The most sensational accounts suggested Spring-Heeled Jack simply vanished in a burst of blue flame, his mocking laughter echoing through the common. Mary herself would tell a different story, one she shared only with her sister over many glasses of brandy. She spoke of how, in her terror, she had found an unexpected well of courage, how she had stood her ground and made the sign of the cross, and how the creature had recoiled as if struck. "You are not welcome here," she had said, her voice stronger than she felt. "This is not your London." Spring-Heeled Jack had paused then, his burning eyes studying her with what might have been respect. "Perhaps not," he had replied, "but neither is it entirely yours." With that, he had leapt backward onto a nearby rooftop, 50 feet if it was an inch, and disappeared into the fog. The encounter would not be the last reported sighting of Spring-Heeled Jack. Throughout the following decades, he would appear again and again, terrorizing young women, breathing blue flames, leaving confusion and fear in his wake. Each appearance sparked new theories about his true nature. Was he a deranged nobleman? A visitor from another world? A demon taken human form? But Mary Stevens knew better. She knew Spring-Heeled Jack was something else entirely, a manifestation of London itself. He was the shadow cast by progress, the darkness that lurked beneath the glamour of the Victorian age. He was a reminder that no matter how many gas lamps they lit, no matter how many streets they paved, there would always be corners of London where mystery and terror held sway. And on foggy nights, when the gas lamps cast their sickly glow and the shadows seemed to move of their own accord, there are those who say you can still hear the metallic click of his boots on the cobblestones, still catch a glimpse of those burning eyes through the mist. For Spring-Heeled Jack, like the city that birthed him, never truly dies. He simply waits, watching, ready to remind London that some legends are best left unexplained.